All right, friends, I'm going to start the drawing part for our Brian Wildsmith's birds. So I'm going to start with the outer part of the owl's eye that we're creating first, and then we'll do the other eyes inside of it. So you want to draw those first two circles kind of big. So I'm going to go and start near the top, but not too far up, so I have room for the top of the head. So I'm going to come down from the top a little bit. I'm going to do a large circle here, and then another large circle next to it, and you may or may not have a lot of space between those. That's fine. I'm now going to do a medium-sized circle. Let's try to keep them the same size on both sides of the paper. And then I'm going to do one more circle inside of that one that's filled in. So altogether you should have drawn on each side 3 circles. We're going to do a curve that connects from one circle to the next, and then a V that comes back down and up. That's going to be the beak. You're going to find the middle point of one eye and draw a curve, a big U that comes down and meets back to the other eye. But we don't want to come too far down because I have all this room I need to save for a tail. So I'm going to make sure that I don't get too close to the paper, but I'm still making it big enough to add detail later. We're going to do the same thing up here in the opposite direction of a curve. Find the middle of the eye and draw a curve that goes to the other side of the other eye in the middle. That's the top of our head. You're now going to do a curve for wings on each side of the body we just drew. So I'm going to do a curve from where the eye and the body touches. That comes around and goes down towards the bottom of the body, and then another one over here. We're now going to do a line that goes through the bird. Okay, so I'm going to do from the edge of my paper, draw a line that goes to my bird stops. Try to guess where that line would come out. This is the top branch our bird's sitting on, and go to the other side of our paper. You're now going to draw the bottom part of the trunk below it. And I'm going to give just about 3 lines on each side for the claws of our owl. And now we're going to do the tail. And the tail is just a bunch of half circles. So I'm going to start by doing 4 half circles that come right below that branch. And then under those half circles, I'm going to do 3. And then under those, who can take a guess with how many half circles I'm going to need? 2. All right, and then if you want to add more branches coming off of your big branch, you're just going to draw some lines. Okay, my friends, so there's that. We are now going to go in and start to add some color in our tail and in our eyes and in our beak. So that's 3 parts that we're coloring: our tail, our eyes, and our beak. We don't want to do anything else because we're going to be coloring in a special way for those spots. So I'm going to pick any color I want, and I'm going to start coloring the inside of my eye. Don't do the outsides yet, just those middle outside parts. Remember, when we color, my friends, we want to outline the shape and then fill around it. I'm going to do the same thing with my beak. I'm going to go in, find a color I want to use for that, outline that shape, and then now fill in. You want our colors nice and bright, so you're going to need to add a little extra pressure and do a few layers over and over. Okay, so now that I have my beak and eyes done, I'm going to find 2 colors that I want to use for my tail. I'm going to go in these little half circles, and I'm going to draw with my 2 color choices. I'm going to color in those half circles, okay? So I'm just going to go in and do that. It doesn't matter how I color them or which way, as long as I'm trying to stay in the lines, I'm coloring neatly. I can go back and forth with the 2 colors if I'd like. Instead of lines. All right, we now have our branch. I'm going to go in with a brown crayon for my branch, and I want to go with the direction of that branch. So Miss Plummer's not finding a brown crayon in her crayons. Must be I lost that one, so I am going to use orange because it's pretty close. So for the branch, you're going to go and same thing as you would with any shape, outline that branch first, and I'm going in the direction of the branch the long way, and then we'll fill it in. So go ahead, any of the little branches or big branches you have, you're going to color those in. Alright, so I have my branch, my eyes, my tail and nose colored in. I'm now going to start to do the feathers. And how we're going to make the feathers is by drawing little lines to create textures. If I was to fill it in like I just did with the other parts of my owl, then it's not going to look very furry or very featherly. So I'm going to go in, get 2 colored crayons of my choice, and we're going to start with the owl's wings. And how we're going to do the owl's wings, we're not coloring in like we're used to, friends. This is very different from how you're used to coloring. We're going to go on top and just do some short little lines like this, repeated over and over with our first color. And then we're going to go in with our next color and do the same thing, short little lines. So we're filling up with color using lines to create texture instead of coloring in. So after I have that wing done, I'm going to go in and do my other wing. Start with that first color, and then we're going to go on top with that second wing. All right, my friends, now we're going to do around the eye here. So we're going to go in and we're going to find 2 colors again. I think I'm going to use the same ones. And we're going to do some straight lines around my eyes. And notice with this one, it goes from that middle section of my eye all the way out to the outer section of the third circle. So I go from this circle where I colored in, and I draw a line that goes all the way out but stops at the very edge of that last circle. So you're going to do just like we did with our wings. You're going to go all the way around. These are all vertical lines that go around with that first color, and then go on top and do the same thing with that second color. Okay, my friends, now we're going to do the inside of our owl's head, and once again, 2 colors of your choice. You can use that same color. These ones are going to go up and down, vertical lines from the curve of the head to the nose. So I'm going to start with that first color and then go in with my second. Okay, now for the body, I'm going to do something different. We're going to do little U's. They can be different sizes, big U's, short U's, and we're going to go in with 2 to 3 colors and do some little U's. I'm actually going to do a white crayon. I wonder how that's going to look. So I'm going to go in and I'm making little U's over and over and over. When I'm done with this one, I'll go in with my second color. Now, because the body's so big, if you want to go in with a third color for this shape here. All right, friends, now we're going to do the big feathers that come off the eyes. So these are going to be a curve that go from the beak, curve around the eye, and come outside the head a little bit. So I'm going to pick one color of my choice, and I'm going to go where the beak is, curve around that eye, and curve out a little bit. And I'm going to repeat that a few times. Now I'm going to do the same on the other side. Go around that eye, but then curve out. So once I have that first color in, I'm going to go in with a second color and do the same thing. All right, so my owl's looking pretty great. We're gonna add a couple things in the background just to help fill the space. What I'm gonna have you do is make some stars. So you're gonna go in, how you make your stars is by doing a cross and then a T that goes through it. We've done snowflakes like this. So a cross and then a T that goes through it. And you're gonna make sure, just like with our snowflakes, that you're working around the owl and we're not just doing it in one spot so that our eye is able to move around the space. All right, my friends, that's looking great. If you would like to add any more textures in your owls, I'm thinking in the body I could do a fourth color. It's got a lot of gray. Okay, we shouldn't see too much of the gray showing. I'm gonna keep building up. Oops, try to hold that crayon by the tip, Mrs. Plummer. I'm gonna keep building up with some more hues, but I am not coloring in like I normally do.